Hello everyone, welcome to this Ragic webinar. I'm Fabio, who will be giving this webinar and basically telling you how to build your first basic Ragic database easily. And let's just wait for a few minutes to let more users to join, and yes, we'll be live soon. Also, during this webinar, feel free to ask any questions in the comment section or in this live stream comment section, and I'll build a quick prototype or answer your questions vocally, so you guys can answer it right. You guys will get an answer right away. And before we start, I would like to give a big thank you to user X Agent Downge. Please, I apologize if I did not pronounce your name correctly, but thank you for your comment. Thank you for your comment about saying that it's very helpful for you with your product management and sales. This will be also part of what I'm going to be talking about today, as I'm basically the database I will be designing is trying to integrate an employees management with sales order, and basically the system, and make them combine together in a way that I think will be really helpful for you guys. And you have also asked any way to import WinSCP with Ragic. I'm not exactly sure about what is WinSCP, so if you would like to, would you mind please elaborate or send us an email to support@ragic.com. All right, I guess it's about time to get this webinar completely started. And as a prologue, if you guys have not had much information about Ragic, basically Ragic is a database software that has an interface very similar to Excel, as it's presented in grids and cells, just like what you would do in Excel, but it is much more powerful than Excel, since first of all, you can build a lot of sheet relationships and a lot of tools that are really easy to use that basically you can't really do with Excel. And Excel is a spreadsheet, but Ragic is a database. And what's more powerful with Ragic is that you can basically design your own database easily without using any codes, and basically build your own system by yourself. So if you're really familiar with Excel, making your Excel into a database is much easier than you think. So basically I'm going to start by designing sheets, which is the fundamentals of creating a Ragic database. There's two ways to design sheets. One is just by clicking on add new sheets, either here or in the plus section. But I'm going to do it with a different approach. Instead of starting a new sheet from scratch, I'm actually going to do it by importing from an Excel sheet. So I've actually created an Excel sheet earlier, So this is an employee sheet I created. Kind of was, I mean, it's not real data, of course, but if you have like a list or a sheet like this, it's presented like this, where the title's at the top, and then all the data for each person is followed by the title, and then presented by each row is for one person. Well, basically, if it's presented in this format, you can easily upload this whole thing onto Ragic. So this is how you present it, and let's go back to Ragic. This one. So I want to create, yes, again, I want to create a new sheet, and rather than designing a new sheet, and before that, I have to create new tabs first, since I only have a start and a reports tab, and I'm just need to create a new tab here after going into add a new sheet and at the plus sign here. I'm just going to call this company data. And I want to create a new sheet with my Excel file. So I select this, and I'll say create. It will allow you to choose your file here. And I'll start with an employees sheet. Open. Upload. And then we'll go to the next page. It will show the sheet that you're trying to upload to, and so its first few data. Confirm. First row is the header. Go to next. And what you want to do, we want to import it to where? You want to create a new sheet, or you can, if you already have designed a sheet already, you can import it to an existing sheet. So you want to create this new sheet in new tab. And basically choose the type of input for each field. This means that what is the field type? I'll be talking more about field type when we go into the Ragic sheets. But basically field types is how you want your data to be presented. So for example, these are name fields, so it should actually be free text rather than date with time, which is definitely not correct. So you can change it, go to free text. And birthday, yes, date is correct. Department, I would say a selection field, sure. Title, selection field, sure. Level, this is actually just a normal numerical data, so I just want to say it's, nope, not money, it's numeric. Office phone extension, it could be numeric, or sometimes, like, I'm not sure if this happens, but you always have like the start buttons, so maybe it's better with a free text. Email feels fine. Cell phone, we have a phone field, so it's definitely better than the numeric field or the default date with time field. Gender, it could be selection, or it could be free text, in either way you like to choose. And after you have set these up, go to next. And then you can import and create your sheets. Now your sheets have been created, and let's go here. So as you can see, your sheets have already been presented here. Your records have been presented here, just like how you look at it in Excel. But what's different is that this kind of like more like an Excel form. This is called the listing page of your sheets, of your Ragic sheet. So this means that it lists like your selected data. But to go into the details, you can actually click on each record. So if I click on this person, now I have to go to this type of page. This is called the form page. So it lists all the fields details, unless you hide the fields, of course. Basically, you list all the field details of this individual person, all the details of one individual person. Now, of course, this is not, since we imported this is not created in a really desired format, since you probably don't want the field headers. That's what we call this, the field headers like this, that big. And not even like the field value area this big. So yes, and what's good with Ragic is that you can easily customize your sheets easily. So simply go to change design to modify your fields. So click on change design. So let's say you don't want these fields to be that big, just like Excel, drag it and make it smaller. And for this as well. And other forms. For example, we can go to styles. You can say you want the labels to be on the right. I mean, close to the left. I'm sorry. Close to the left. You want to, or you can change the fonts, the colors, background colors, whatever you like. So this can be done after importing. So what's good with that is that if you already have a list of data, you can basically modify its design even with your data, even if your data is already on Ragic. So it doesn't really matter. And of course, after you have basically imported your data and created a new sheet with it, you can still add more fields as needed. For example, if you need more fields to list probably like family members or emergency contacts, which is basically for example, like each individual employee, they may have 3 or 4 or more, at least more than one. Now for this type of one-to-many relationships, you can create new fields, which we call subtable fields. So what are subtable fields? I mean, let me show you guys how to create subtables easily. So let's say you want a family member, so name, relationship, age, contact number, email. Now, as you see, what I've just designed is I've made the fields, they are going horizontally instead of the independent fields going vertically. Well, if you arrange your fields horizontally, then basically that is a subtable. Now, what are subtables is basically listing one-to-many relationships, as I just have mentioned. So if I go to my form page after saving your design, and always remember to save your design before. Well, basically, if you leave the screen, it will ask you to save your design. It will ask whether if you would like to save your design, but always try to remember to save in case. Probably, I don't know if a browser kind of screws up or something. So again, go to exit. Now you can see this. We have this kind of grid form. So you can list all the related information for this specific employee. So yeah, just like entering in Excel. Name, Jenny Barton, sister, age 30, contact number, random email. Oops. And after you finish editing a record or an entry, either word is okay for using Ragic. So click on save, and now this is basically your record presented in your database. And of course, for the subtables, it doesn't just work for that record, it works for all the records that you have designed for this sheet. So in the future, if you would like to, you can also list as many subtable entries for each employee sheets if you would like. And after finishing an employee sheet, the other sheet I would like to import is to import a product sheet. So again, create a new sheet. Create a new sheet under this tab, and I want to create a new sheet with an Excel file, which I already did with my product sheet as well. So this will be faster than creating completely from scratch. So product sheet, again, doing the same thing over once more. create new in this tab. Product name, again, free text, price, money, selection, yes, warranty, numeric. Import and create. And now, like right now, just like what I've just did with my employee sheet, I've basically created a small list of a product sheet with some products in that I've already created from Excel. Now, if I want to add a new product, for example, I probably want to add some computer cables if I would like to. So I'll click on New, create new record by clicking on New, cables for a camera, projector, price, I'm gonna say it's 50, installation needed, nope. Right, talking about selection fields, you can click on the right button, or you can simply enter the value if you know the value of the selection that you would like to use. So I just clicked on, I just typed no, and it found no. So basically, yes, you can do it by typing as well. Warranty, 1 year, save. And by doing that, I've just created a new record for the products sheet. And let's go back to the listing page. Yes, now you can see this on the top right here. So what distro are you using for the VM you're on? I'm not really sure about this question, unfortunately. Well, basically for Ragic, if you're using computers with Ragic, you basically use it with any computer browser that you would like to use. So basically I'm using Chrome because I'm more used to using it with Chrome, but you can also use it with Firefox or basically any browser you would like to use. How many subtables can you attach in one sheet? As many as you would like. So basically, if I'll go back to my employee sheet for this, I want to change the design. So I can add another subtable saying, for example, absent days, absent day, reason, this is a date, and reason, now save. Now that's a second subtable, and I can go on and on. So, but yeah, basically I could create as many as I would like, So I would say subtables are extremely useful for any sheet if you would need to record different types of one-to-many relationships, not just because it is structured I would say in a really ideal way if you want to view data of one for example, like one employee to a lot of different types of data. And talking about listing pages, you may also change the design of the listing pages. This is not fixed. So what can you do on the design of the listing page? It is mainly regarding the display of how you like the display of the listing page. So for example, back in this employee sheet, I can select the fields I would want to display on this sheet. So right now I'm displaying all the fields, but I just want to probably display the name, the department, the title, and the office extension. So I'll just select all the fields I do not want to display, move it back, and now basically this listing page is only displaying 4 fields, but I still have 9 fields on the sheet, but they're just not displayed. And again, I'll click on save. Other than that, you can, in the listing page field picker, which is this window right here, new window right here, I can also arrange the order of how I want to display display the fields. So I'm calling office extension first and the department title. Yes, you can do that as well. And just like what I've like how I've kind of like changed the styles, you can also have a different style on the listing page for your fields compared to the form page. So if I want to make all my field headers, let's say, what's a good color? Probably green. Green. No, this is the font, so I want to change it back to black. Green, and I'll make this kind of purpley color. And there's a pinkish red color. Save and exit. Now this is your new listing page, and you can also like change the design of your field values, which is what we call these. These are all each different field values. You can also change the design of the field values as one field as well. So, question from Rodrigo Perez. Once all the sheet structure was created, may I import new data from a new Excel sheet? Yes. Well, talking about importing, as I've just mentioned, and when I was creating a new sheet from an Excel file, always make sure that your Excel sheet is presented in this format where you have a header. This is basically I like to set the top row as the field header, which is the field name, and then all the following data will be your field values for each record. And even if it's structured and created, as long as you kind of follow the format when you're importing onto your already created sheet, then it could be done perfectly. And since when you already created your sheet, you already have predetermined field values. So basically you won't have to go through like, well, I have to select the different field types I would like to select. So yes, the answer is yes, perfectly, and it's also really easy as well. So now after I've just created a product sheet and an employee sheet, now the next sheet I would actually like to do is basically, so we have, I mean, in many companies, you have probably like sales representatives that you would like them to visit other companies to do some sales talk, do some sales meeting with other companies to basically kind of like a promotion, or basically have other people understand about your products. But one thing you would also like to do is to record the interaction between your sales representative and for the opposing company. And well, now I'm going to create a sheet regarding that. So let's go back to my Ragic sheet. Now this time, since I don't have anything created on Excel for that, I will have to create a new sheet completely. So I'm going to call this sheet Business Visits. So after you have selected create a new sheet, you'll be guided into a blank sheet design here, which now you can add the fields you'd like, build the sheet relationships, which I'll talk about it afterwards. And well, basically let's start right now. So anywhere in the sheet grids, any grid you'd like to do, you can add the fields anywhere. So I'll start by adding 183. So company name, address, representative, time, company type, size, and initial result, yes. Last level. I'm just pause right here for a moment. So basically, I've added the fields that I think would be great for recording other companies, other businesses' data that you're visiting, and talking as I mentioned, talking about field types. After you have created your fields, you can always select the field types, which is how you would like to, which format you would like your data to be in. So company name, of course, is the free text. Address, by default, I guess that you're using an address field, so it's fine. Name, that's a free text. Time, well, in Ragic, if you're talking about time, we use it with the date field. So when you have a date, you can select to have dates or simply just time, or also date with time. Now, company type, it has like kind of like a selection. Now, when you're using a selection field, you have to enter your choices, or else you won't have any selections to choose from when you're entering your data. So I would say company type. I'm just gonna type in a few field types of companies. Bank, retail, IT, manufacturing, NGO. No. And I guess I'm just going to go with 5 right now. And talking about size, it kind of guesses was a free text, but what I'm actually thinking about size is like the number of employees it has inside the company. So it has to be a numeric field. Now you can always change in the design mode which field type you would like to use. So click here and find numeric field. An initial result, yes, this is a free text field, but I would like to add more, make it kind of like a paragraph mode. So we have a type of field that's called a paragraph text, but what is paragraph text? It's basically a bigger free text field. So I want probably more like a paragraph, so I want a wider data entering area. So merge cells 4, and I'll drag it bigger. Initial result. Interest level, I also like to make it a selection field. High, medium, low, unknown, need, follow. Sorry for my typos happening constantly. I'm sorry. And basically that is the details that you would like to enter. Now, if you would like to, for example, you would like to know which of your own employees have been visiting that company and some of the details which you would like to reference to. Now you can use a tool that I think is probably like one of the most important tools in Ragic. This is the fundamental tool to build sheet relationships. This is called link and load. So what you do with link and load is after you're saving your sheet, you can select to use link and load, and I'll link it to the employees sheet. So I want to, for example, I want to have the name, department, title, and maybe email good field. So what that means is in this new sheet, I will be selecting an employee name from the employee sheet, and when I make that selection, it will also load the selected employee's corresponding data from my other selected loaded fields: department, title, and email. So that's in link and load. The link field is the name. Department, title, and email would be the loaded fields. So exit link manager. See, you have 4 fields right here, which I can later I'll be able to select from. Let's go to save. And also I think it will be also better if I would maybe change the name of this field as well. So talking about Ragic, what's good with Ragic is that you can always customize or change the design of your sheets anytime you'd like. So I'll probably say sales name. So let's go to exit. I want to enter my company name, ABC company, address, 1 Main Street, 1 Main Street, their representative name, Francis Cordero, time, company type, selection, this is I'd say a manufacturing size, 2000. Initial result, I can type in anything I want. So a good meeting, but more follow. Listen, they would investors interest level, need follow-up. So this is basically the data I've just entered, and this is the link and load part. So this is what we've just did, a link and load to the employee sheet. Now I can select a record from the employee sheet. So I'm going to say it's Wendy Kyle. So as you can see, I selected Wendy Kyle. It loaded all the other corresponding data that regarding Wendy Kyle. So click on save. Now I have basically a business recorded a record about a business visit. Wendy Kyle went to ABC company and all of some of its details. And yes, this is basically the business visit sheet. And let's go. And I now have one record here, and I can add as many as I would like. So other than this business visit sheet, now I can also create a new sheet, which is also, I would say this is a more comprehensive sheet with more tools that you'll be needed. So I'm going to create a new sales order sheet. Again, build a new sheet from scratch. Just before I create my sales order sheet, one KAY asked, how many records from that employee sheet can you link and load for? If I have more than one employee visited company ABC, since that will be presented in more like a one-to-many relationships, so I would personally do a link and load, but to create it in the subtables. And yes, you can use link and load to independent fields like I've just did, or you can do it to subtables. Now, to use link and load in subtables, I will show you with the sales order I will be doing right now. So in the sales order, what I will be doing link and load is I'll be linking employees' information onto the independence field. But since each sales order, you rarely, well, not like rarely, but there's not a high possibility that you'll be just buying one type of product. You'll be buying a whole list of products. So that will be another link and load relationship in the subtable fields. So that is where you would like to link and load with more than one data on referencing onto one data. So let's go to sales order. I'm going to create the fields again. If you don't have like a Excel sheet already prepared, you'll have to always create a new sheet from scratch easily in this kind of an Excel format. So sales order, order date, order company, order date, order company, address, on person, yeah, shipping method, confirm, sales. I'll stop pause right here for a moment. Now I'll again modify the fields, order company, free text, address, contact person, free text, contact information. If I would like to have it an email, I'll change it to an email field. Shipping method, selection, airmail. Shipping, pickup at store. Confirm. Now this is I would like to show another type of field. This is a checkbox field. So using a checkbox field, now it will be showing a tick or a no tick, meaning yes or no, and you can always now there's a lot of more different icons where you can do more icons that you can choose. Where you just click on field, it'll be like a modification of the field types. But let's go back. I'm just going to use a yes and no right here. And the sales, again, I want to do it with a link and load. So go forward, save this first. Go to link and load. Get employee sheet like I've just did. Name. Department. Title and level. So regarding link and load, you can use link and load to basically grab new fields and grab the fields for our pre-designed, like for an employee sheet, and just like create it from scratch. Or you can always link and load to fields that you have already designed. Either way, it will be our way you can do it. And the only difference is that if you create the link and load and create new fields completely from scratch, it will take the name of the field names that you have created on the link source sheet. Okay, exit link manager. Now as I was talking about link and load with one-to-many relationship, that will be the subtables. So again, I'll go to save. Now, as you may recall, a few minutes or like 20 minutes ago, I've created a new product sheet. So again, link and load, another set of link and load, go to product sheet. I'll be linked with the product name. That'll be the link field, and price. Again, arranging them horizontally makes them a subtable. Wire installation needed. Nice. So as you can see now, I have a subtable. I have a subtable with all of them having link and load. Now I can keep on adding fields with the subtable. So for example, if I probably want, when you're talking about products, one thing that is really important is the quantity. Quantity and discount. Good. And net price. And that, again, modify your fields. This is when you're when you're doing numerical calculations, which I'll be telling you guys how to do with calculations in the future. Well, basically, if you're using numerical calculations, it is really important that you make your fields correct. So if you're talking about a discount field, I would suggest making it into a percentage field. A percentage field, since discount is usually by percent. So we have a product name, a price, installation, warranty, years, quantity, and net price. Now I would probably want to do a calculation in this field. It would be probably like number of price times the quantity and have a relationship with a discount. So how to use the formulas for each in Ragic, basically. Click on the field as I've just done and click on formulas. And you don't need to start with the equal, but you have to enter the field headers for the fields that you would like to be referenced in your formula. So this will be this price field times the quantity and times 1 minus the discount. So this will be B12 times E12 times 1 minus F12. Now, therefore, since I have set a formula on this subtable field, each subtable record will have its own calculation. And I can also one thing I can also do is to find the total price of all the subtable records. What I need to do is just to create a new independent field. So total price. I thought it was a numeric field, but it's actually a monetary field. So where's money? Money is here. So what will be how do you calculate in regards to your subtables? Well, basically, since this is just the total of this subtable field and all total of all the subtable records, the formula is just easy, just simply G12. When you just type in and refer to a subtable field, this means the sum of all the fields, of all the subtable records in the field. I'm sorry. And click on save. Now that is basically a simple sales order that you have already finished. And also one thing that I would like to one thing I kind of care about is that talking about the price, since every country has their own different money formats. For example, like in the United States or in Britain, or probably with many European countries, usually you only go to the last 2 decimal points. As for some other countries, they don't even use decimal points. Like personally, I'm in Taiwan. We don't go to cents or anything like that. Our smallest unit is basically 1 NT dollar. So talking about money fields, especially with calculation, I would always like to change the format of the money fields. So as you can see, this formatting means the decimal points can go on and on for almost as much as possible. And for making it display correctly, I would always like to add 2 decimal points with 0, 0 in the end. Now by doing that, and this field as well, although I don't think we'll go to decimal points for this in my record designs. Well, but anyways, by doing this, your money will be displayed correctly in kind of like in your first glance. So you won't have to like round a lot of decimal points into the last set or something like that. So save. I've saved the sheet design, and let me just show you guys a record. So order date, this date, order company, ABC company, address, Los Angeles. And talking about address fields, one thing I forgot to mention is that if you have a correct address, well, basically if you click on this icon, it will show you a map, integrate with Google, and it will show you the location on the map. Well, unfortunately, I don't think this is a right address, but we can still try. Well, it kind of guessed this. It'll try to find the best address, the closest address as possible. But of course, this is not exactly correct since this is not a real address. But if you have a real address like this, it will show you where it is on a Google map. So contact person, contact address. Email.com, shipping method, airmail, sales, a link and load. Go with Wendy Kyle again. So product. So they want first. I'm gonna list a few products here. So laser printer. This is done by link and load. Quantity 20. Discount 10. So now basically this is basically one sales order sheet that I've created. And one thing that I would also like to mention is that I want to go back to the change sheet design later. Well, for example, this happens a lot with link and load since when you're using link and load, your link field is selected, but your loaded field you can still manually change it. Well, in case you don't want your users to have like to change those values in that and make it not associated with the link and load. One thing that would be really helpful is to make those loaded fields read only. So this means that they won't be able to modify. This has to be automatically executed with link and load, or automatically probably done with formulas. And because they can't do anything edit. So for example, I have this link and load set. If I would like to add another one, let's say smart lock. Now I can't modify anything right here. No. But I can modify things here. Since I have to, if there's no like a rule decided for it, and then I have to enter it here. So one question from Rodrigo Perez: if I have all products in one currency, for example USD, I want to find all price in euros. If euros, may I do a conversion with a currency sheet? Yes. And what's also this will also help you a lot is we have a currency converter field. It will automatically obtain the currency that of the day of your creation of your entry. So let's say currency exchange rate, and you can select which currency you would like to exchange it to, and have a formula referencing that field automatically. And just one last thing about your formulas is that you can easily use integrates basically have your formulas using subtable fields and independent fields at the same time. So for example, if I have a total price and a total price field and the subtables, I don't have the discount field. This discount field is an independent field, basically the discount for the same discount for this whole sales order. I can simply have the net price field multiplied by an independent discount field. And let me just create a new record real fast, since this will be an important part. for this for the new a tool that we would like to talk about. Company. I'm gonna skip this for right now. So I'm gonna Jonas Kyle. Okay, so for the sales order, if you have like created a few of them and you have a lot of numerical records that you would like to do further calculation, or even make it into like a graphing or a report. Yes, you can easily do so with the report tools that Ragic provides. Well, since I will be talking about like referencing the data with numerical data. So one report that is also that I think it would be helpful is, well, actually two. I'll be ranking report and the pie chart. So if I do the ranking report, which is more like a bar graph, I've clicked on this ranking report, and it will be showing that Wendy Kyle has basically processed 3 records, Jonas Kyle only 1. And of course you can also change the criteria that you would like to talk about. For example, we like to talk about the total price. So you can see that the total price on Wendy Kyle has done a lot, like 99.3, and Jonas Kyle only has a 0.7 in terms of like the total price of all the records in this sheet. And since this number is the total of all the 3 records, and also you can also add another pie chart to it. So click on pie chart, and it will show the percentage on, and also like the pie chart format. So as you can see, Wendy Kyle has a large portion right here, 99.3%, and Jonas Kyle only has this small portion right here. So this is our graphing tools that will be really helpful if you would like to use. And there you can always select to save, or change the styles, or embed this report onto somewhere else, or probably like some other site that you like to use, download as PDF, or make it printer friendly, or simply just save it. This will be really handy if you would like to have your Ragic data and make it into a report for presentations, no matter if it's for your company or just basically for other events. And to further integrate on what we've just done with the sales order, let's go back to the employees sheet. So since we have in our sheets, I've made Wendy Kyle and Jonas Kyle process some orders. I can also have those sales orders shown in reference subtables on the employees sheet. So what are reference subtables is that, for example, if I have use a link and load and made a selection on another sheet, I can also show the details in the subtables. This is the link source sheet. So yeah, change design. Form tools, show reference from existing sheets. Sales order. Now link subtable sales, drag it down, and you can select the fields that you would like to show. So I probably want to show order date, order company. Total price is really important, so I want to total price and shipping method. So I want to show all these 6 fields and simply insert subtable. So let's see this. This is the reference subtable I've just created, and let's look at it for Wendy Kyle. So as you see, Wendy Kyle has processed the 3 sales order records. Now the data are all automatically populated in right here. And please just remember that this data is synced. It's synchronized with the sales order sheet. So if I make an edit here, it will also be populated in the corresponding field over there and on the sales order sheet and vice versa. So just answering your question quickly, since there's an integration with Google Address, Google Map, is there an integration with G Suite, e.g. Google Sheet? With Google Sheets, well, basically you can select to find ways to import your data from Google Sheets, and if you would like to have more integrations with external softwares or websites or anything else technologically, you can always write codes with API and use API concatenation. And if you would like to, we can always refer you to our partners, which can help you. And if you would like to do that, of course. And if you have more details of what you exactly want to do, feel free to elaborate more on the details and send us an email to support@ragic.com so we can help you more comprehensively by communicating with email. So talking about this reference subtable it's just like any subtable you would see, and of course I can still apply formulas with it. So for example, I want to see like the total price of all the orders this salesperson has managed. So again, you can still use formulas for reference subtables. So grand total. Grand total formulas F25. Now, I would personally, whenever it's already on a sheet with existing data already, I would always, when I create a new field with or modify a formula, I would always apply all formulas in this sheet to all saved records, or just apply this formula. It depends on what you would like to use. So yes, you have a calculation here. Of course, it's not. I forgot to set it in the correct monetary format. Well, basically, this is the calculation that you have just obtained, and if basically using reference subtables, you can reference to other sheets, and onto this main sheet, you can just simply have a quick glance of a specific person or a linked value, depending on what the linked value is, and basically you can do more. If you would like to, you can do more integrations with it. For example, if the bonuses of an employee is determined by like the yearly total value, the total price of all the sales order he or she had managed, you can always apply formulas or with the conditions and rules using the if conditions formula, and then basically you can even make this automated if your rules are pretty clear and pretty functional. Well, this is different for many companies since other companies may not have those structured rules for bonuses or anything else, but this will be really helpful if needed. And basically that is it for today. So today in this webinar, I've basically went through how to create a new sheet, either by going from completely from scratch or simply creating for a sheet with an Excel form, and also using subtables, using formulas, and it kind of gives you a general idea of how you would like to present your sheets. And if you have any questions, I'll be here for a while if you guys have any questions that you would like to ask, or you can always email your needs or requirements to support@ragic.com if you have any questions. And one last question, can multiple users update or enter data in one sheet at the same time? It really depends on what you mean at the same time. Well, basically, if it's like two users on a sheet, they're updating it at the same time right now. For example, it's 10:31 right now, and they're doing it at the same time right now. Then that is no. If one user is editing a form, the other users, they can't edit the same record. They can't edit the same record at the same time. They will be blocked until the first person has finished editing the form. However, they can still edit the same entries if they both have the access rights. So one thing about access rights is in Ragic you can basically set up access rights as kind of like as complicated as possible if you have the right groups. So if you already have predetermined user groups and you want to set them different access rights, you can always set them for each different sheet by going to form settings, and then these are the groups. Or of course you can create new user groups which you can give them rights to. So you can set them as bulleted users, which they can create and edit their own and view all they can edit their own entries and view all entries. Or survey users, create and edit their own entries, viewers or admins, depending on which access rights you would like to use for each different sheet. And feel free, if you have any questions, you can just keep on asking in the comments section, and I'll be here for another few more minutes to answer your questions. And I guess it's time to conclude our webinars. So if you guys have any questions, always feel free to send an email at support@ragic.com. And if you guys would like to know more about Ragic, you can always go to our YouTube channel to view our previous videos, previous webinars, which I've talked about different tools or different sheet designs that you may need. And that will be very helpful to give you a head start on how to design your Ragic database. And of course, a lot of those Ragic tools that will be really helpful for you. And for now, thanks for attending this webinar, and we'll see you soon.